Hello there, I'm Mick Tapsett and I run Wilderness Crafts, and we're here at Glastonbury for this week to teach the bushcraft skills.
I'm Thomas Yorkon and I run Trackways. I've been teaching survival skills for the last 20 years.
Hi, I'm Steve from Axe and Paddle Bushcraft. And this is Kirsty.
I'm Kirsty from Axe and Paddle Bushcraft, based in Brighton.
And we're at the Greenfields, Glastonbury. We're teaching spoon carving and firelighting and
hazel bow making, feather earring
kids.
making, a few different things to try.
I started off as a hill walker really, and progressed to a more wilder and wilder type of camping, and 10-15 years ago did a basic bushcraft course, and then carried on to learn a bit on my own with books, which were older and older books, 150-year-old books sometimes, and went on to learn different skills. And each skill you learn forks off onto two other different skills, and you progress and you just branch out into more and more activities. There's all the basics of bushcraft. Fire lighting is obviously a large part of it, shelter building, wild food sourcing, water sourcing and purification, the tracking, the navigation, and handcrafts, knife use, stone, flint knapping, etc., etc. It just goes on and on and on. I mean, obviously you can teach the hardcore or people that are really keen, but it's introducing these skills to people that would never normally follow that sort of avenue. To actually have an opportunity to experience some of it, it is a real eye-opener for some people. And for some of them, obviously, it leads on to an interest for themselves. I think it gives them a new look on the wilds and the countryside, even if they learn a little bit of flint and steel fire lighting or a little bit of plant ID. It might open their eyes to experiment and learn for themselves. I think 9 out of 10 people have some interest in this sort of subject, even if it's only passing. Most people seem quite keen. I mean, there's not many 12-year-old boys that don't want to start a fire. And 12-year-old boys are sometimes really 45 and about 6 foot tall. It's all the things really you were told not to do as a kid, but in a safe environment.
I've had all these people watching me. I think I'm ready to be on the pyramid stage. No, yeah, it was very good. Yeah, it was awesome. It was good to start that. We've been very frustrated at first and thinking, how am I ever going to do this? To then, 15 minutes later, this great teacher here to get me to actually be doing it. So yeah, it's good. I feel happy now that if the plane goes down and we get on that island in the middle of nowhere, that I will be able to survive.
I got into it by reading a book by Tom Brown Jr. Found this book called The Tracker, read the book, went back to the bookshop and bought every other book that he'd written, and I went for one of my normal runs up into the hills around Bristol, and I thought, I'll try out one of these things called a fox walk. So I started walking more quietly than I normally would walk and bumped into a fox head on within the first 5 minutes of walking that way, and was kind of like, wow, there's something going on here, this really works. Whenever I went into the forest, I always felt like there was far more going on than I knew about, so I was kind of really interested to penetrate that. And so I went over to the States and started training with Tom Brown Jr. And after completing 1 week of training with him, I felt for the first time like I actually really lived on the earth. I learned a lot of the physical skills, but also energetic and spiritual skills that are very entwined with the work. I'm here sharing practical physical skills, but I'm also interested in how they connect you to the earth, to our ancestors. I've also studied the shamanic and spiritual side of that. And then there are a whole group of skills in the middle which we call nature awareness skills, which build your conversation with nature, your capacity to hear the language of the birds, to read the tracks that how the earth speaks to us, and then interact with the energy of everything.
So I've been on a few Rainier courses and stuff like that, but I've never done flint napping, so come over here. I was always fancied it. It's quite a difficult skill to learn, I thought, so it'd be really good to kind of first try it.
My job overall is really to help people to fall back in love with the earth, and then they can't help but look after and protect it. The skills are very grounding, and they also give you the capacity to survive anywhere on the planet. So if you want an insurance policy, learn the survival skills, because then if it all goes to pot, it doesn't matter, you'll be able to look after yourself and your family.
Years and years ago, my mum, when she was young, she was obsessed with Native Americans. She bought a book. And when I was a young boy, she showed me a book, and it was all about Native American crafts, arts and crafts. I wanted everything in that book. I'd always wanted everything in that book, and it just became a bit of an obsession. And it went from that book to learning firelighting and tracking skills.
When I met Steve about 10 years ago, he was doing all of that as a hobby. We worked together to turn it into something we can do full time.
It's the amount of adults that bring their children here to do maybe a flint and steel firelighting course, and they'll watch their kids do it. Dad's normally the dad who leans and he goes, can I have a go as well? I want to go at that. You know, it wasn't the kid that wanted to do it in the first place, it was the dad. And that's lovely to be able to do that, to be able to share that knowledge with everybody.
It's really rewarding to see kids here making stuff with their hands and doing something that doesn't involve a screen or buttons to push. You know? So it's really nice to get them back to making things. For us, bushcraft is not just about survival skills and ancient methods, but it's also the craft part of it as well, and creating beautiful things.
Whether it just be making a spatula or a spoon or to a pair of shoes or a canoe.
People can come here and they can try something and make something with no experience.
Yeah. A lot of these things, it's technique, and if someone shows you that technique, it becomes really easy. Some all self-taught, firelighting and foraging. It takes a long time when you're teaching yourself, because you've not got nobody to go, right, just do this a little bit or that a little bit, or don't eat that, eat this. To be able to teach that, it's lovely. Opening their eyes a little bit.
Opportunity to try something that they probably wouldn't come into contact with.
Or something that they've always wanted to do but never had the opportunity to do.
But mainly, I think when people try something with us or with the rest of the guys here, it's something that they never really thought they might enjoy, but they go away with something they've made, or a new skill that they've learned, and it's just part of the Glastonbury experience. You know?
They always go away smiling.
Because it's a sense of achievement, isn't it?
Also having somewhere where you can take time out and come and do something a little bit relaxing, whether it be whittling, whether it be making felt. There's a lot that goes into this, isn't there?
There's so much that goes into this, and it really is one of the things that makes Glastonbury so unique.
Yeah, it's a really good festival, isn't it?
But yeah, really good.
Nice to start your day in a craft field. Enjoying it, it's great.
Because you
may not be yet, the string was slipping. Check her, there might be luck. But that's still got far out of that. It's a good one. That's got